Channel. Today I'm coaching a subscriber once again. We are going through some gameplay now. Remind me please, what's your current rank from last year? What are your kind of just overall, what are your kind of problems in this game, do you think?
Current rank from last year was like high diamond 3, and
okay, cool.
Problem I'd say with this game is positioning and routes. That's kind of what I'd go with.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest two things generally, just because this game is a lot different to last year. So one thing about this year is that it's all about team setups, okay? So right now you're playing Skid Row, and I noticed you're using a submachine gun, okay? So let's see what happens here, and if you adapt to the game, and maybe switch to an AR. So starting off, we're gonna go through the left here. And now normally what happens is on this left-hand side, just as a default break, is this side here, right? They can normally get there a little bit quicker than you, okay? So when you're pushing through this back alley, just as a note, again, this is a starting thing, so we can go through straight away. It's about your starting routes, okay? So when you're pushing through, you want to make sure you're taking the right route. Now, me personally, I love going through this area. I always try to fight back alley, whether I'm on like this side or this side. But one thing I'm aware of is the blue team here, they get there a lot quicker, okay? So when you go here, you have to be careful. One thing is they normally chuck a stun grenade. If they stun you, they're going to push you, okay? So let's kind of see what you do and how you play this out.
Sure.
Okay, so one thing I would be very cautious of is, like I said, because they get there first, you didn't really check your right here. Now, what I think people could do, again, just because it didn't happen here, doesn't mean it can't happen normally. And my job is to help you be a bit more aware of what can happen, okay? So once you start to understand the map a bit more, get a bit more reps, and you're going to understand that this player could get them before you. So if he wanted to, he could easily slide across and hide in this corner, okay? So if you're going to run in like this, you want to make sure that you're at least eliminating this area here. Now, the way you can do that is like what you did here, right? If we back off. You started on, you're going through, you chucked a stun in front of you, okay? So now that you stun this back alley, you stun this area here, you should probably just pre-aim your right as you jump around the corner just in case somebody's waiting for you here, okay?
Yeah, makes sense.
Happy, does it make sense? Yeah, because right now, you see how you didn't look at him? Let's say you replay this map today, you might have died to that, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know he was there. So just about understanding the starting positions and where people could be.
Okay.
But I don't mind this route. It's a good route right now. Now, let's take a look at the minimap where your teammates are. So it looks like your minimap and the teammates, they're all kind of fighting through middle and the right here. So with 20 seconds gone, you should try to speed up a little bit and try to help your teammates out. So you're going to go through here. There you go. So you see right there, what you did is you waited about 20 seconds, not really doing too much, and it probably should have just been a bit more effective of like just trying to get in the hill and help your teammates out, okay? So I don't mind this play back alley, but it looks like when you're in this scenario here, most of the opponents are already set up. It looks like no one's really going to come here, right? Because if you think about it, the only time they're going to come here is through the beginning. Like, I doubt someone's going to really late push this. It's very unlikely. So at this point, I think you should either push through the mid alley that we just went through. So I think you should kind of just push through this bit a bit quicker. Or even go through the side and maybe jump up and try to get mixy with it. But either way, it's not the end of the world. I know what you're doing. You're kind of watching, making sure no one pushes. That's absolutely fine. But this is where I think we've got to be a bit more careful, okay? So you've already waited 20 seconds. Now you go for your first gunfight. Okay, so you've just opened the door. So anyone with a headset on the hill, okay? Anyone with a headset on the hill. And remember another big thing. They left back alley open. Like you said, this is a CMG, right? So you have to kind of expect the other team to have pretty good game awareness, okay? Just to give the benefit of the doubt. Whoever's on the hill right now, they're going to have the communication that nobody is watching back alley, but they're going to say the door's shut. So as soon as they hear this door open, they're going to assume that you're pushing through. Okay? Think that's fair to say?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sure. So right, look at this, kind of back off slightly. And again, these are all little things they will pick up on, okay? The first 30 seconds, we've already seen small details that we can work on. So you've opened the door, okay? You've pushed through. Now you've slid in, but you don't know if he's going to be there, if he's going to be in the head glitch, if he's going to be on your left by the plat. So I think when you open the door, you have to, one, be a bit more careful, and two, coordinate it with your teammates a bit more, because right now I think you kind of went in by yourself. You kind of went in all gun blazing, but remember, you had no intel on plat, first of all. So somebody could easily be on this left corner. So you slide in like this, and look at this. As you slide in, he's already pre-aiming you, because he heard the door open. So he was more ready for the gunfight than you. So you see, you go through and you get killed. And there you go. There's a Crimson right there. Okay, so you know he's a decent player. And as I mentioned, he had the door shut. So for him, it was a good play. He was able to watch behind. Now look at the minimap. Look at this. Your teammate comes right there, okay? You see the green dot? Right. This is where you need to be using your communication and waiting. If you waited 2 seconds, right? Imagine right now your teammate comes up the stairs and then you slid in. You then can both pinch the hill. So together, you can come in through the door. He can come in through the middle, and then you can pinch the guy in the hill.
Yeah, that's a good
So it's
point.
all about those 1 or 2 seconds of communication. Now, let's say he pinched the hill and you pinched and you guys got traded. That's okay, but you have more of a chance of winning those gunfights than going and solo challenging, okay? But look at that, look at that. You see your teammate right there? He actually had a clear shot, so it's a perfect example. So let's see what happens. So you end up dying, and then as we watch your teammate right now, let's watch your teammate. Look at that. So Raya right now, look at this. He actually had a clear shot. Now imagine if you slid in right now. It's a completely different scenario, right? Because you're going to be with him. You both are 2v1. Even if you hit one shot, you probably kill him. And then let's say right now, you probably break the hill. And, you know, it's a different start. So just a really good example how one gunfight can change the whole perspective of a hill. So now you're going to push through. You're by yourself. Okay, so you see one on the left, one on the right. This is quite difficult. You're 2v1. You go in and you catch some bad timing. I'm not going to, you know, hassle you for that. It's pretty bad timing. It was a pretty difficult gunfight considering the scenario. It is what it is. 20 seconds left. Now, on this map, you want to rotate, okay? And I'm going to talk about P2 specifically because I feel like people understand it's a money hill, but I think some people struggle on one thing, okay? And that's going to be setting up and how you guys can work as a team to hold different things, okay? So we're going to go through it. Happy so far? Got any questions?
No questions. The reason why, so how I like to play this all beginning is that I like to, if we can't get set up for P2 and we know we can't because we started bad side or whatever, I like to get as much P1 time as we can, but we didn't get any. So now it's going to be tough to transition over. Well,
I actually agree because what I was going to say is a lot of people, even in the comments, I'm sure you know this as well, a lot of people chalk P1 and go straight to P2. But the problem you have is if you give them 50 seconds on P1, it doesn't really matter if you get a money hill on P2. You're back to square one. So I like to fight for P1 as well. But let's just assume the P1, you know, is what it is. It's happened. You've given them 50 seconds. Not ideal. But now you need to fight for P2. So now let's take a look at your spawn. You spawn tunnel, okay? So you spawn tunnel area here. Now what you want to have is you want to have one person watching tunnel, one person watching garage, okay, the person in the hill sitting there, and you want one person watching ticket. Now, if you can have one person watching each, you have one free player. That free player is essentially the role filler. He's going to pick up whatever the pressure's coming from, okay? That's how I want you to think about this. So let's say, for example, number 2's on the hill. Let's say he's watching garage, because for me, that's the best thing for the player on the hill to do. Stand on the back ledge, watch garage. Let's say number 3, this is a perfect P2 setup for me. You have number 3 sitting back ledge here, okay? And then you have number 4 kind of watching tunnel, but he doesn't even need to commit to tunnel too much. He can even play the bottom. He can shoulder it. Tunnel's a weird one because you can watch it from different angles, but you can even have the player in the hill watching tunnel. But for my example, we're just going to keep it like this, okay? And then you have number 1 roaming around. Now, number 1, what you can do is if you can sit here, this is perfect for me because what you can do is if the pressure's coming from tunnel, he can then watch tunnel and help number 4. If the pressure's coming from tickets, he can jump up and he can help number 3 and watch through ticket. So for me, this is the perfect break on P2 and how you should set up. Okay? Happy with that? Does it look like a good setup?
Yeah, it does, definitely.
Now, the problem what people have is if number 3 dies, okay, as a team, your team needs to react to that. Number 1 needs to automatically reposition and watch ticket. And depending on the communication, if number 3 says there's 3 people tickets, that should give you the intention that there's going to be a lot of pressure there and you should start to shift your attention. So the reason I broke it down before the hill even starts, because I want to see as a team how you guys communicate and how you guys break the setups down. So right now you're watching garage, okay? Now, one thing I would say is, again, it's a bit weird because it's definitely dependent, but I would say right now, the problem with this current setup you have is this is more of a setup you have when you're on the back foot. This is more a setup you have when they are map. So right now you're the red team, okay? You're standing here. Your teammate's standing in the hill. Now, this isn't a terrible setup. You have the hill, but out of all the setups, look how much map control. You only have this much map control. You're actually giving the blue team the whole of tickets, okay? You're allowing them a bit more of the map to make a play. Now, what you want to do is you want to have this side of the map, okay? You want them to be over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't want them to really have tickets because even though you can still hold the hill, if they take you off, because there's so many little head glitches, right? They have more of a chance of breaking it. So right now, what I think you should be doing is trying to get through as quick as possible. So right now, look at this. You have a teammate in garage, okay? So with your teammate in garage right now, your one job, this is so important, okay? And this is where you need to get to a power position as quick as possible. So you have a teammate in garage. You have a teammate behind you in tunnel, okay? Teammate behind you in tunnel, so he's running towards you, and you have a teammate in the hill. So you're number 4 here. You're kind of the role player. Now, if we put you here, we'd have the red teams off the map. Based on your current setup, where do you think the best position for you to be is?
I need to be P5 somewhere.
Exactly. So for me, the best position for you to be is here, okay? Because what you're doing is you're actually stopping them from getting to tunnel. You're distracting them over here. So you're going to be fighting the enemies around here. But what you did is, okay, you actually positioned yourself over here. So what you're doing is you're letting the enemies push through. So you're not actually contesting them here. You're going to be contesting them over here, which is closer to your hill.
It's a timing thing. So like I was coming off spawn in tunnel, right? So I don't know if I can cross yet, but that should be a communication.
I agree. It's a timing thing, but this is where you got to look at them in about 15 seconds. Your teammate just got a 2-piece, and you just have to make the play right now. Now, one thing I would say as well, you need to be using an AR. I know you like using a sub. You said one of your sub gameplay. Specific hills, you need to switch. So right now, this hill, you should have an AR. Now, you got fortunate. You picked up an AR. As soon as you pick up this AR, I know you said there's a timing thing, but let me tell you why it's irrelevant in this scenario. Because your teammate's behind you, okay? You standing here isn't giving much input to your team. You're watching the cross, but what you should be doing is pushing through. You're saying they might already be here, okay? Now, realistically, they're not going to have 4 people here because they just died. They're going to be spawning tickets. So your job is to get there before them. So if you push through now and start making your way there, you can be aggressive. Now, as you push through, your teammate number 1 is going to go to where you just were. So he'll be able to help you from where you just were. Does that make sense? He'll be able to give you extra support, okay? So it might be a timing thing, you're right. But every second you waste here, look, 1, 2, 3, look, now you're wasting time. Now they're setting up. So now there's 3 of them there, and you're a little bit late. And now your teammates tunnel, and now look at it. This is what I mean by the pressure, right? Look, you're holding the pressure. Now, for me, this just isn't a good play because you're allowing them to push you. You're in this corner, right? Perfect. But first of all, you got no trophy system. Okay, if they go through the corner, they're going to chuck a stun and nade, they're going to kill you. Now, this is just not enough map control. So your teammates, you're tucked in the corner, your other teammates in the hill, you're holding the little bottom, but it's just not enough map control. Now your teammate dies, he gets pinched from tunnel, and now, again, you're kind of chalked here. And guess what? Your teammate died garage as well, and now you guys are 2 versus 4, okay? So you're doing a good job of holding the pressure. Fair play. But I think in this hill, because it's such a money hill, you shouldn't even have any pressure. You should be able to have a 360, okay? But good job. You held them off a bit. But now, again, this is what you should be pushing out, okay? You got a nice wave of kills. You see how you got a 3-piece now? You see your teammate got a 3-piece, right?
See it.
Yeah? Where do you think they're going to spawn? The enemies.
They are gonna wait. Go back to where my teammates spawn. I didn't see.
Your teammates spawn tunnel.
Yeah, he's tunneled. Yeah, they're gonna be back ticket like plat area.
They're gonna spawn here, right?
Okay.
Exactly what you said. Yeah, exactly what you said. That's what you said. Back plat ticket. Okay. So by the time they push here, what would you say? Maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah, maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah, let's give or take, say 3 to 5 seconds, right? Because they got to check, they got to hold their pre-aims. You know what I mean? They got they're not going to just run out in the open. They're going to be careful. They're going to pre-aim. They're going to check their equipment. So right now, these 3 to 5 seconds, once you got this 3-piece out right now, if we back off a bit. So once you go through, as soon as you guys get this killed, so as soon as you kill this guy garage, perfect. You kill him, your teammate spawns tunnel. This is where you should be pushing the right. Because now, look, you back him off. As soon as you back him off, you should be pushing the right here and trying to get mixy. You should be pushing. Yeah, you know what I mean? You should be pushing this area now. And you got a submachine gun. Bro, if you get mixy in P5 and you can just distract them, get a kill, back off. If you want to play with a sub, that's fine. Just get mixy there and stop letting them push towards you. Because right now, you're giving them so much map control on the cross. See what I mean? You're backing up. Look, you're watching tunnel. You don't need to. Your teammates are spawned there. Look, both your teammates are there. And right now, this is where you're wasting time. You're wasting precious seconds, right? Look at your side cancelling. You're kind of just doing random things because you're waiting for a gunfight. But realistically, the gunfight's not going to happen now because they're not spawned up yet. Okay? You see what I mean? Look, you're shouldering the wall. You're doing all this stuff, but nothing's really going to happen. There you go. Look, your teammate called in garage. So again, we know now you're spawning tunnel. There's only 2 options. One's garage, one's ticket. So one thing you should do is either with a sub, go to garage, because you can actually hold that. So with a sub, if you even wanted to, right? As soon as you got these 3 kills right here, this is where communication comes in. This is what separates the diamonds and the golds and the iridescents, sorry, the crimsons to the iridescents and the pros, in my opinion, okay? Right now, you get a 3-piece. You should say, okay, I've got a submachine gun. I can only hold garage. So I'm going to go to right now. As soon as you get this guy weak, you back off. You should say to your team, okay, I'm pushing garage. Now, you're playing with a 4-stack, right? You're playing CMGs. So you have communication. Wherever 2 players come through tunnel, wherever 2 players come through on your team, like say number 1 and number 2, you should tell them, yo, off spawn, get ticket control. I'm going to watch your garage. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah? You say watch tickets and then make sure you have flank as well. So you just give them the communication that somebody could flank them, but as long as they watch ticket, they're okay. Then what you're doing there is you can then hold garage and watch this front area. Now, if you get really aggressive with it, you can hold garage, you can time it perfectly. If you get 1 kill and they say 3 ticket, playing aggressive, you can get really good timing. You can flank them, make a play, get 1 or 2 kills and then die, but you've stopped their whole push. So you should, that's what I mean. This is where you get a sub. You should start playing the different angles and get aggressive. So right now, look what you're doing. You're holding this angle. You're taking your time. Now, don't get me wrong. You might be able to hold this hill. My objective here isn't to tell you, oh, good job, you held the hill. No, to tell you what could have happened against a better team. If you went up against a pro team right now, would this setup work? I think it wouldn't. What's the better option? I think is to push out and be a bit more aggressive because you're giving them a bit too much map control, in my opinion.
I'm watching crates.
So let's hold this. Let's push through. 3 there. And let's see what happens. So look, now guess what? This is what I mean. This is such a big thing. Your teammate's on top. He's by himself. You're kind of holding the bottom. Your teammate now gets pushed. Guess what? 2 of them push you. On this setup, they should never, ever be allowed to just openly run through into this area. This area should be a no-go. Whoever goes through here should get gunned already, okay? You should be able to shoot them while they're crossing. The fact that 2 opponents have gone through isn't good, okay? We need to work on that setup. And now, look, you get traded, and now your teammate's by himself. So you see, like, you were kind of waiting there. You only had 1 gunfight. It's just not aggressive enough. You need to be more aggressive. And look, you've lost the money hill. So you see the difference there?
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
You see what I mean now? It's not about your gun skill, because, yeah, exactly. No, I know it's hindsight, but if we can work on the setups, though, because something like that, it should be, like, a kind of consistent thing. Like, I know it's hindsight, but I kind of predicted it before it happened as well.
No, it was a bad play.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though? Like, before the play even started, I did say, like, 1 should be here, 1 should be watching garage, 1 should be there. But what actually happened in reality was no one did that. You didn't have 1 person ticket the whole hill. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So now, look, 25 seconds left. You guys are chalking it up. Now, you guys gave up P1. You rotated to P2. You were 30 seconds down, and you got 30 seconds. So you split P2. So again, it's just not really good enough because that was a hill you rotated to. Okay? So now you're going to go through. You're going to watch your top here. Again, a bit of patience, okay? So right now, I think one thing you're doing is you're playing aggressive, but sometimes you got to just wait for your teammates, especially in this game. There's so much team control, and the game's so much about pushing as a team that you need to wait for your team, especially when playing with them. So right now, you're here. Now, your 2 teammates are only like round the corner. They're literally in the room. What do you think this time delay is? How many seconds do you think for your teammate to get to you?
2.
2 seconds, okay? Instead of waiting 2 seconds, look what you did.
I saw him in the corner of my eye, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go mid, and then, I ran it up. Yeah. But
this, again, because you're playing a good team, you have to expect more than 1 rotation. I understand your thought process. Again, you were thinking, okay, there's only 1 of them there. I'm going to slide through mid and wait for my team. But you got to remember, you have back alley control. Remember what I said in P1? Do you remember the first thing I told you? Somebody could be mid?
Right.
Exact same thing here, right? Exact same thing. You didn't expect the guy mid. So this guy mid takes you out. Okay, now your teammates are in a 2 versus 2. So what was a 3 versus 2 for you has now become a 2 versus 2. And your teammates are now, like, they're kind of getting chalked. Your teammate dies, and now you spawn back alley, and your teammate's now in a 2 versus 1. He gets a trade. Let's see what happens to him. So this guy's right here. You can see he's actually doing a pretty good. He's actually fighting pretty well. He actually manages to win that, okay? But we want to be a bit more consistent, because if he loses that, you're again kind of down. So we want to sometimes wait for your teammates and just play together, okay? I like this, okay. What was that, sorry?
I was saying I see where my teammates are on the map, so I'm thinking that they're going to be
this is good. This is really good play for you. This is really good play. So you're going to back up. Yeah, I like this play. I like this play a lot. So it's good play. You're going to back up, watch tunnel. Let's see what happens there. So your teammate's getting 1, teammate's getting 2. Okay, perfect. So it's going to hold this off for a second. So you see 1's behind you guys. You're holding middle. This is still a good setup because you got 1 watching each time. But this is where you just start rotating, okay? So your teammate should start rotating here. So now you know he's at the front of the hill, okay? This is fine. This is okay. I'm okay with this. There's definitely different things you can do, but this is still good. I'm happy with this, okay? So really, really good P3 from the team right there. Really good hold. You're able to hold that for a long time, and basically you're back in the game. So you guys basically held that for 60, okay? So now you're going through. Now you have God steps. This hard point, you really want to hold it from the front. So an ideal setup for this hard point, okay? An ideal setup for P4. We always talk about ideal setups because that's what we're trying to build towards. If we can get to that setup, we're chilling. So what you want is, you want someone God steps, okay? You want someone front of the hill. The player in the front of the hill, all you want him to do is to juke between these 2 doors, okay? If he can just like kind of shoulder the tunnel And if someone comes through the tunnel, you can just chuck a stun, chuck a nade, get them weak. And then whoever's on God Steps can help him out. God Steps, his main job is to watch the top and the tunnel, okay? Whoever's in the hill needs to watch tunnel. And that's basically it, only watch tunnel. Then the other player at the back, you want someone around there. And this is why it's so important. This player, what he can do is he can watch the flank, he can watch bottom mid, and if 1 or 2 dies, he can help you. So this player is so versatile because he can help both players, okay? And then you want number 4, just holding the back apartments, making sure no one flanks, making sure no one gets through, and he has the whole back door. So this is the perfect setup. Would you agree, or do you think there's something we can change?
I agree. We never get into the setup because there's so many micro adjustments and split-second decisions. 100%. But yeah, we need to practice this exact setup.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's why I think it's good to have an idea, because if you don't know what the perfect setup is, you're not going to prepare for it. So right now, if you can see this as a team, like if your team saw this screenshot and right, this is the perfect setup. When you're going through, you can start to adjust, because right now you can see you have 3 people on God Steps. So now we know that the perfect setup means someone has to be back apartments. What that means is we're preparing before the hill even pops. So right now, okay, with 20 seconds left, one thing you can do is actually rotate backwards. So you see your teammates all going middle. So one thing you could do here is you could actually rotate backwards and try to get to that back apartments. Okay, because that is ideally the spawn point. So instead of rotating forward and giving them the spawn, you could rotate backwards and try to play for spawns. Just one adjustment you could do. Okay. The second thing we could do is, now we're here, let's kind of see what happens. So you can definitely hold it from the front here, but it's not as easy. I think it's a lot easier holding from the back. As long as you have God Steps, so you should be good to go. So now you're both God Steps, you're going to go through, so you're going to jump around the corner. This is just, you know, unlucky from you. You know, your shot, you were looking somewhere else, but your teammates should get the trade. There you go, they get the trade. 2v2, this is good. Now let's see where you spawn. I assume you're going to spawn back garage, depending on what your team is. Yeah, so this is why, you know, when you rotated through middle, it seems like a good play in the moment because you're helping your team, but I really think you should have rotated through apartments, because now you're going to see you actually spawn over here. Look where you spawn. You spawn so far. It's like a 20-second, like, to get to the hill now, it's literally a 20-second run through the hill while sliding, while full pace, without doing anything. Just running through the hill is about 20 seconds. However, if you spawned back apartments, like over there, that's like a 5-second hill. Okay?
Right.
Just like, now look, you're going to be pushing through, you're going to be sliding across, like, and now look, someone's watching the top, you know what I mean? It's just so many more variables you have to go through. The guy's got steps, he's watching your top God Steps. It's just not as easy. So now look, now you're finally getting close to the hill. It's been 20 seconds. So you see how important spawns are?
100%.
There you go, there's one. Okay, so you've opened up the blood here. You've got the first kill. Again, that's a bit unfortunate. Just maybe just use a cover a little bit more, maybe use your equipment a bit more. You know that they're going to be calling out God Steps, okay? So he's going to be pre-aiming you. So as we go around, he's already pre-aiming you. So right now, maybe you can prone, you can chuck a stun, chuck a nade. Just be a bit more cautious with your shot there. I see why you went for the gunfight in fast motion. It makes sense, but he was just a bit more prepared than you were.
Yeah, he melted me.
Yeah, he got them headshots, so yeah, he was able to melt you. But now you spawn a bit close, okay? 25 seconds. So I like this play. I like this play to rotate and chalk it. The game's still close, so you're like, you know what, let's just rotate. Let's just call this one you know, this one's chalk, let's rotate. But look at your opponent. And this is what I mean. This is what good teams do. They literally rotated before you even got there, even though they had scrap time. So important. Now, let's play this one out. Let's see what happens. There's only one player there. He's able to kill you, okay? So Jiggles gets 1 kill. Let's see what happens. Your teammate ends up team killing. So basically, Jiggles essentially got 2 kills there, just from the early rotation, okay? 2 of the teammates dies, yeah? Now, where do you spawn? You spawn garage. So you still spawn close. However, if he had one more person there, they might have actually won the rotation. So do you see how hard it was? Even with one person rotating, you guys almost lost it there. Right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if you had another person, but look, now the other person's there, and you can see you just don't have as clean of a setup because they sent someone on the rotation. So even one person on the rotation has kind of fucked you guys up, because now Smelly's there. Smelly's frying you guys. Now it's a 2-piece. So now you guys are in a bit of a blender, and again, you might be able to recover here, but where do you spawn now? You spawn apartments.
Yeah.
So you see, they've got the scrap time. They sent 2 people on the rotation, and they were able to break the hill. Okay, so that shouldn't happen. We should be a bit more confident in our breaks. Even though they're the scrap time, we have the numbers. We should have been able to rotate. And now you're spawning on the other side of the map. It's going to be very difficult for you to break the hill. So you're going to go through here. Now your teammate just died. So I like the stun grenade. You're going to chuck a nade over. There you go. So you take out 1. Now you're 3v2 on the left. You're going to go through the left here. And again, this is such a hard break. And this is the problem with a sub on this game. I think you should use a sub on certain hills, but not every hill, in my opinion, because it's so hard to break. Now, look, P2. They've got someone watching over. Look at this. You're going to go through. Okay? But these are just obvious things, right? With a sub right now, you should know, like right now, like realistically, against a good team, sliding out, like you should know from what we spoke about that the ticket cross is the most popular cross in the game on this hill, okay? On these two hills. Everyone is going to have someone watching ticket, okay? So for you to run across with a sub, we need to work on that a bit more of your positioning. Like you said to me earlier, your positioning is a bit weak sometimes, and that's exactly what we saw here. We just saw a submachine gun player fly across into the open. Now, the AR player on the blue team, they could be up here, okay? They could be back here. They could be in the corner. They could be on top of the hill. There's not really any scenario where you slide in here and you win the gunfight. Even though you centered onto him as good centering, there's always going to be one or two plays from a distance with an AR. So you see what I mean here? Look, you slid on, you jump, but look at this. He already shot you because he's watching that. It's such an obvious cross because his teammate's going to spawn tunnel. Remember I told you in P2, you need someone watching ticket at all times, right? So what you did is his teammate that died is spawning tunnel. So number one knows, okay, I need to watch ticket. He's holding this with an AR and you're standing in the open waiting for it to be killed. You go through and you end up dying. And now your teammates are once again in a 3 versus 4 on the push, okay? Do you see what I mean there?
Yeah, I'm learning that I'm the problem here.
No, you're definitely not the problem, but your pacing could be your pacing can definitely be worked on, okay? And right now, I think you're setting yourself up for failure by using a submachine gun. You should only be using it on hills like hill number 1, hill number 3, and hill number 4.
Yeah,
hill number
which I
2
started doing, by the way.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because hill number 2 and 5 is all about lanes. When hill number 1, 3, and 4, you can still kind of finesse. Because 4, you can sit a god set to the sub. In hill number 1, it's really good for subs. Hill number 3, you kind of made it work on the sub, right? You got like 60 seconds. But you can see now, look at this. You're going through garage, but again, unless you're a Beezy, like these shots are just very difficult. And look who you're challenging, bro. You're challenging like players that are like your level or better, like you said, and they got an AR. You know what I mean? Like it's very naive to think, okay, I'm gonna win these gunfights. Okay, I'm not saying you are naive. I'm saying in terms of in the game, if someone saw this, I'm like, this guy's very naive. Look what he's doing. He's trying to, and look, you got good shots on, bro. You got great shots on, and you still lost a gunfight. You're going up against people like you said. You were Diamond 3 to Crimson. Okay. So think about it. Timon was Crimson. I don't know who he is. I don't know how good he is. But let's just assume you're the exact same level and you're challenging him at long range with a sub and he has an AR. He's going to win the gunfights. So it only works against people you're better than. But we want to work against people that they're better than you so you can improve. And that's why we need to think, right, I shouldn't be using a sub at long range gunfights. It just doesn't make any sense. Look at this. He had an AR. He was ready and you were getting gunned there. So it's not about your gun skill. Right now, it's more about your game awareness of taking gunfights that you're going to win, okay?
Just reset.
Okay, cool. So you called him God Heli. You called him God Heli. You're going to go through. Now, let's see what you do here. So one thing I want you to start doing is using your equipment to stop the pressure. So right now, when you see this guy there, perfect. That's fine. You see him there. What you should do here, you should cut in on the right, okay? You should really cut in on the right and chuck your stun in the gaps. Let me show you what I mean. Let's just say right now you're number 2. As soon as you go in and you see this player, you see their number 1 on this head glitch, okay? You see him, he shoots you. Like, okay, cool. You should cut in. You should cut back in here. And what you should do is you should chuck your stun grenade, because you're in a head glitch here. They can't see you. You should chuck your stun grenade over the wall into this little gap. So that if he pushes you, at least he's stunned now. And then chuck your grenade and then reposition. Because what you do is you don't use your own equipment. You go in and now you're waiting here. Now the problem is if they have 2 players now, one's going to slide across and one's going to kill you. So again, you got fortunate there because he was by himself. But the problem is when they have 2 players there. So what you want to try to do is just use your equipment to stop them from pushing you, okay? But good stuff. You're doing a good job here. And now look, you can see, right? I think one thing I've noticed is the only hill you've held is P3 so far and P1 now. You know why? Because you have a submachine gun. Okay, so you can already see the P1 and P3, you guys are actually holding it because you're using a submachine gun. Does that make sense? So you guys kind of were chalked just from using the wrong weapon. Happy with that? Make sense?
Oh yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So now we're going to P2. And look, bro, you're literally in the game with 2 pretty decent holds from P1 and P3. So now we're going into the new hardpoint. Let's see what happens. So we back off slightly to where it gets a bit mixy, 25 seconds. So they're probably going to rotate right now. So you see they're going through, you're going through garage, you're waiting, you're with your teammate. Let's see what happens here. So now look at the minimap. You got 1 player garage, you got 2 players on the hill, okay? So now you're thinking, right, how do I break this? Well, I think first of all, you need an AR like we mentioned, but second of all, what you can do is use your equipment and just try to break through ticket and just try to finesse. So you get the first kill, really good kill. You've actually opened up the game here. You've opened up the blood. Now you're 3 versus 3. You're going to slide across. There you go. Tuck in. Okay, so I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to tuck in and get closer. Now, one thing I just want to go through and we can talk about is, do you remember when you were playing against, remember when you were holding P2?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you remember what you did? You stood in the building, okay? Now look at this. Imagine now, you're playing now, okay? This is you. Imagine the opponent wasn't there, he was in the building, and he gives you this whole cross. It's very easy for you to get through, right? What are you hoping for right now? You're hoping that no one's watching the cross, is that correct?
Well, I knew they were coming tunnel, I was just chowing. Like, that's what, I know what I'm doing wrong for sure. It's just, I'm chowing out in the open.
No, but that's okay. But besides the chow, what is your plan? Like, what is your ideal situation there? Is it to get there before them? Okay, cut off tunnel, right? Yeah, perfect. But let's say there's one person that's not tunnel. So right now, what's happening is this is the exact same scenario you were in, and I'm going to show you the difference, okay? So when you were playing on P2, I'm going to rewind it. You had one person in hill. You were playing bottom hill, okay? You were playing bottom hill, and you had your 2 teammates tunnel, okay? Do you remember what I was talking about? So we're in 6 minutes right now, okay?
Such a bad setup. Looking at it on my God.
Okay, so remember that. Look what happened. This is when you were on the other side. So this is when you were on the other side, okay? Look at this. Look at this. In garage. You call that in garage. Now look, the 2 enemies were able to get through, okay? This is what you had. Now let's fast forward. Now this is you trying to break the hill. When you're in garage, they're not letting you get out. They're not giving you the time to get out and go through. They're not allowing you to cross through. So do you see now? You can literally see from the other side what you should have done and why it's so difficult for you to break the hill. Because number 2, instead of sitting in the bottom, he's watching the cross. Like I said, all he's doing is watching this area. You do not let people run through this area. That you just don't let them do that in P2. You make sure you stop them. So do you see the difference? You there, bro? You see the difference in the setups? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, I'll just make sure you that. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to not let someone through. Now look, someone's on the left, Jiggles is there, and you can tell that guy's a good player because he's always rotating, he's always aware. So all I wanted you to do next time is, this is why I kind of showed you, just so you know, like from a different perspective. Instead of sitting in the hill, play a different angle, watch the cross, and look, that's 2 free kills he's just got. Now you're going to spawn. Where do you think you're going to spawn? Well, you're probably going to spawn back here, like we said last time, right? Probably going to spawn like back ticket area, like around there. Let's see.
Yep.
Back left.
Exactly that, right? So you spawn basically even further, which is not great. You spawn basically there. So you spawn P3, but you know, you're going through. Let's see what you can do. So this is why it's so important. The way you hold setups is like, this should be a money hill. So if you're struggling on your team, right? If your team is struggling with setups, what I want you to do is look at your gameplay. This is for everyone watching at home as well. Go to times where you can't break a hill and just reverse engineer the problem and say, when could I not break the hill? Why couldn't you break it? And then just have that setup. And once you have that setup, you're going to find gaps in it because people will break you eventually. Once they break you, that's how you break hills as well. Does that make sense?
Actually, a really good perspective. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's actually really good.
So right now it's perfect. So say your team's watching this right now, you can see like, shit, we can't break this. So you should have that setup. And then what you're going to see is, oh, you know how we break it? 4 of us chuck a grenade at that guy there. Again, one thing you're not doing is you're not all team nading. This guy here, he's not invincible. You guys should be chucking your team nade. Once you eliminate him, cool. And you should all 4 of you be chucking your teammates here. Because again, when you're sitting in tunnel, what is your biggest problem? I know personally, if I'm sitting tunnel, I'm okay. As soon as someone stuns me, I'm screwed. They're going to push me.
Oh, yeah.
So how many times have you pushed through right now and not chuck your stuns and nades? There's 1 life, okay? Let's go back to earlier. Let's go back to earlier. You got the kill. You still got your stun and nades, okay? Going through. Guess what? You've not used your stuns and nades. That's 4 pieces of equipment. 4 pieces of equipment you've not used, okay? In CMG matches, I'm not sure how many trophies they use. When you play tournaments, when you play wherever you play, they only allow 2 trophies. It's not 4, okay?
Right.
2 trophies aren't that broken because 4 pieces of equipment will get rid of it. So you right now have wasted 4 pieces of equipment, okay? The way it works is that, again, you've wasted another 2. You should be chucking these stuns and nades over, making it easier. There you go. You finally chucked 1. And guess what? You've actually stunned him. You've actually stunned him. Now, let's see. I'm assuming you're actually going to break this here. So even then, you stunned him. That was a poor nade. Considering the stun, you know, right? Look where your nade's hitting. You should be aiming your nade a bit right. You should be cooking your nade in the gap there, okay? So look where your nade bounces. Look where your nade actually bounces.
Yeah, it was a terrible nade.
That was a bad nade, right? Now, just as a side note, for everyone watching as well, a frag grenade takes 5 seconds to detonate. Okay, I went in the private game and I checked this out because I realized once I knew that information, it would actually allow me to be a bit more efficient. So look, you chuck a stun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay?
Yep.
So now we know it's 5 seconds. You can actually position it differently. So you can back off a little bit. You can actually hold your grenade. So you hold it 1, 2, 3. I would hold it for 3. Then I would chuck it here. It would bounce 4, 5, land right there and get the kill. Okay?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Again, very small detail, but very easy way of just making sure that you're utilizing your equipment, stuff like that. You go through. Now, that should have been a free kill, in my opinion. That nade would have killed him, and you would have saved your teammate. So you dying there had actually killed both of you, and you probably could have broken the hill. All like really small adjustments, and I think this game could have been a lot closer.
I think I played well on the C3. Good. Yeah, I think I played well on this.
What a surprise! It's a sub hill, bro. Of course you were frying on the sub hills. That's what I mean. Every hill you played good on, you were frying on the sub hills. Okay, it's just the AR hills you guys didn't do good on because I mean it's hard, bro. You can't break the hills with an AR. So right now there's a gap behind you. So this is where you should be coordinating. You kind of identified it. One of your teammates said it. But right now, you definitely could get flanked. There you go. So you back off. This is good. But now, again, look at the arrows, okay? Now, this shouldn't be happening as a team. This may be in rank play, but as a team, this shouldn't be happening. Let's look at the arrows. Your teammate's there. You're both watching the arrow.
Yeah, we shouldn't be looking the same way.
Now, I think it's okay because your teammate said he's got a ticket. So this is okay. But what you should be doing is one of you should be getting a little bit more aggressive. If you're going to hold this, one of you should get a bit more aggressive and just stop them from coming towards you. Because what you want to do, right, is the main objective here isn't to stop them from pushing the hill. You're not trying to just stop them from pushing the hill. You're trying to stop them from spawning there. Okay? So if your teammate's going to be in hill and one of them has tickets, you should back off and stop them from spawning here. And you should try catching them in the sprint because what happens is people have their guard up. So as he comes around the corner, he's going to have his guard up for the gunfight. If you catch him over here, you're more likely to catch him in the sprint. You know what I mean? Right now, as he comes around, he's going to be more prepared for this gunfight. But if you caught him over there, he might be running towards you. You might get a free kill. So let's see what happens. So you're holding this. You're holding this. Let's see. So there you go. You actually end up getting a kill here. There's going to be 2 of them. Again, I would like you to use your equipment a bit more, especially in places like this where you're probably going to die because you're going to get outnumbered. At least use your equipment to slow them down. So there's one. And that's a really good 2-piece, okay? I love the reposition. That was really good. Now, do I think they trolled? Yes. I think they should have tried to stun. Yeah, one should have slid across. Now, I'm just going to show you how they should have pushed this, okay? He should not be pre-aiming like an idiot. He should be sliding across, dragging your aim assist to the right. He should be sliding across here. His aim should be here. As he's here, this teammate should jump out. So they did not play that efficiently. However, you did everything perfectly there. Really good shots there. Great centering. Good jump to kill the second. Really good stuff, okay? That was perfect 2-piece from you. But this is where, again, I don't think you need to back up to the side. I understand why you did it because you were weak. But I think this is where you need to play for the spawns a bit more. That's fine, actually. You know what? I'm going to say it's fine. It's fine. Really good stuff there. You know, that's perfect, actually. You know why? I understand. Because you were weak, I'm going to say it's fine. And you actually played really well.
I was feeling I was going to go back.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I thought if you didn't go back, then I would have said it's a problem. The fact that you went back is fine. But you want to push this out now, okay? Because you want to make sure you get spawns. Really good stuff there. You get the third. Perfect. Again, you're going to back off because you're one shot. That's fine. And, you know, you're chilling. The only problem, can you see the problem though? Because you're getting kills and you don't have spawns, they're just going to keep on flooding you. It's like zombies just flooding you. You got to stop the problem, right? Right now the kills are kind of like putting like a bandage over it, but you're not stopping the problem.
Right.
So you're going to go through again. Now look, you've got a 4-piece and now you finally got spawns. So really good stuff there. And what have I noticed? You're actually, you know, outgunning them, okay? In literally 3 hills out of 5. Why? Because you didn't use an AR the other hills. If you use an AR, I think you would have won the game, in my opinion. Because they trolled. The fact that they barely won and you had a sub, I think they trolled. I think they trolled. Now, again, what you should be doing, though, is if you're going to use a sub, is take more sub gunfight. Bro, look at them. You're frying them with a sub. You got a 5-piece. Now,
did get a 5, yeah.
I would say, because of the time, I think this is why you pushed it. But if you had a bit more time, instead of running out in the open where you can get gunned by so many areas, if you have a sub, right, you should go through apartments, make it mixy, and have submachine gun gunfights.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. But because it's only 13 seconds, I can see why you panicked and you ran, okay? So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's why you just ran at them. But you can see. But you see what I mean? Like, there's no point taking AR gunfights because you're just going to get cooked. Yeah. Now, again, you're going to go through. It's a little bit too little too late now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bit too little too late because of the scenario.
Exactly.
12 kills. You went 12 and 18, I believe, when we saw earlier. Let's see.
Yeah, it was like 12 and 17. 12 and 17, yeah.
You just went on a 5 kill streak. If you used an AR for those 2-3 hills and pushed up ticket a bit more, I think you guys would have won the game. If we go back to the first P2, you guys gave him 30 seconds, okay? Now, what's 188 plus 30?
238.
Yeah?
Oh, no, 228.
228, yeah, 228, okay? Now, what's 250 minus 30? 220, okay?
220, yeah.
If that one hill went your way, you would have technically been in the lead. Now, you can't really look at it like that because the game changes, but my main point was that 1 or 2 hills really do change the game, because 30 seconds going to you and 30 seconds going to them are 2 different things completely, okay? So you want to make sure when you have a setup, you have to hold that setup. But overall, I think you played okay. I think there's definitely room for improvement, but your gun skill was fine. It was more just about your natural positioning and using the right weapon.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to show you this game. That's why I wanted to show you this game.
That was a good gameplay to break down. 100%.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through more in detail for now. YouTube, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like and shout out my boy for letting us, show his coaching on YouTube. They obviously pay for the service. The fact that he lets us show it on YouTube, I really appreciate it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like and let him know down in the comments how much you appreciate it. Is there anything you guys want me to go through next time? If you guys want to get coached as well, make sure to jump into my Discord server and message me privately. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you for another one tomorrow.